very early, learned what my interest was and followed it with considerable passion to this day. So I went to Radcliffe, and I early on took a course in the history of political thought. Plato, Aristotle one semester, and then the moderns in another semester. And I fell in love with both of the lecturers and with these books and with this subject. And I studied it with Michael Walser, who some of your listeners or readers may know about, or Dieter Sklar. And I wrote a senior thesis, and I went into the PhD program at Harvard. There was a little hitch. I did apply to law schools my senior year as well, thinking that maybe I should do something like constitutional law, something more activist, and I couldn't. So I went to, it's just what I love to do. So I got a PhD at Harvard. I started teaching as an assistant professor at Harvard. I then taught at Brown for 15 or so years. And then at that time, you couldn't get promoted to tenure from within. They had this rule. And then I went back. They invited me back with a professorship. I don't know, 20 years ago. I'd have to figure out the dates. So that's my career course. And I wrote books, lots of books, and I edited books, and I ran conferences, and I was deep in the academic world of political philosophy and political theory. And my books stand out, or at least are differentiated from others in one particular respect, and that is I always use literature. After my senior thesis, I discovered that just talking analytically about ideas or empirically about institutions or historically about these subjects wasn't satisfying to me. And so all of my work, even this ungoverning book, I quote some Dickens, but this book didn't really lead itself to it. So all of my work, I have used literature, I've used poetry, I've used novels, and it has helped me both develop themes like about romanticism and an understanding of my more recent book before I got into these Trump books was called Good Neighbors. And I use literature almost entirely to discuss the evils and the morals of neighbors. So that's been my work, and I'm going to go back to it after this book is done.